What is up, bass fishing freaks? Luke Reeser here from Too Fat to Hunt Outdoors. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tackle Tip Tuesday. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to save money on fishing line, which is going to keep more money in your pocket and put more fish in your boat. So stay tuned, folks. Tackle Talk starts right now. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys, but fishing line is pretty expensive. I'm sure everybody knows that. Spool of braid, spool of fluorocarbon, they're expensive. You know, $20 for 150 yards, sometimes more. That can add up a lot, especially when you're talking like fluorocarbon, where you got to change it out a lot because you're retying, because it gets full of memory and it gets coily, because you break off, because you backlash, whatever the reason is. It can get really expensive. That's one reason why I started using cheaper line, but I still use some higher end lines. It kind of just depends. You know, I buy a lot of stuff when it's on sale, and I don't limit myself to one certain kind. But general rule of thumb, I'm going to show you a little technique today that can save you money on fishing line, and that is by using backing. If you've never heard of using backing before, it's when you take a cheap line and you use it as like a filler on your spool to fill up, take up space on your spool so that you don't have to use as much expensive line. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in a second. So what I got here, I got a brand new Quantum PT Icon reel that I just ordered. I actually ordered it for my swim jig rod for my Denali to replace one of my black Maxes that is getting pretty tired in its life. But for now, I'm going to put it on my Falcon buzzbait crankbait rod, because it's cranking season, it's rattle trap season, and I need that rod for those techniques. So we're going to put it on there for now, and then next year it'll probably go on my swim jig rod. So I'm going to get this on my Falcon, and I'm going to show you how to put backing on your reel. Voila! Oh my God, isn't that freaking sexy? Look at that. I just want to hold you, pet you, and go flip you, crank you. Anyways, folks, so there it is. I got my Icon on the reel here, on the rod here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cheap line. This is P-Line CXX. If you like this line, good for you. That's awesome that it works for you. I absolutely hate it. I can't stand it. I love P-Line. I like Tactical fluorocarbon. I like their Fluoro Clear. It's probably my favorite line they make. But this is absolutely junk in my opinion. Worthless line. So I use it for backing. I got it on Tackle Warehouse last year. Like I think it was buy two get two free or something like that. I don't know. It was ridiculously cheap. It ended up being like $3 for 300 yards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this down through my eyes and tie it on, okay? I'm going to go in. However you want to do this, however it works for you. I like to stick a scissors or something down in there, grab it. Here's where you just tie a normal knot, whatever kind of knot you're going to use to keep line on your reel. Doesn't really matter. Any freaking knot will work. Like so. Cut off my tag. Okay, so now I've got my line tied onto the spool like so. Now I'm just gonna start cranking line on there just like any other time that I put line on my reel, just like so. So it's up to you on how much you want to fill. This is a pretty big spool, so I put a little more on there probably than I usually do with other spools. But so that's it right there. So that's my backing right there. Really cheap line that's never going to get used. So now I'm just going to snip this. And I'm going to take this cheap line that is just about gone and put it back in my line box, and I'm going to pull out my good line. P-line Floral Clear, 12 pound. This is what I like to crank with. So I'm going to slide this underneath here. This is how I like to spool my line. It works for me. Okay, so now I'm going to tie a knot. This is how I like to do two lines together. Whatever frickin' knot you call this, uni knot, fisherman's knot. Go around. Got my loop there. Then I'm going to take my good line. It's pretty coily. I'm going to cut a chunk off. Take my good line, stick it through that hole there. Pull a little tight on that, okay? Then I'm going to do the same knot over here. Go around probably 4 times. I'm going to come up through the hole, bring it down tight. Then I'm going to bring this one. Oh, this one came apart on me. I didn't have a good enough loop in it, so I'm going to start over with this one. Around 4 times. Through the hole. Bring her down tight. Then I'm going to take them both and I'm going to pull them really tight together. Look at that. And there we go. We have 2 lines that are tight together like that are not gonna they're not gonna come apart. I've been doing it like this for a lot of years. Never had an issue. Never had a leader break. Never had backing slip off. Just like so. Okay. Now I'm going to start cranking my good line on. So now you can see my good fluorocarbon is filling up the spool now over top of that backing. So I'm going to put a good amount on here, fill this spool up. And just like that, I'm ready for some deep cranking. Ready to catch some schlaunches, some big old donkeys. So that's it, folks. It's that easy, using backing on your reel to save you money. Now, you're probably asking yourself, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Why not just fill up your spool with good line? Because you're gonna hate it when that knot comes out and that's weak on, you know, and it's gets rubbing on your eyes and it weakens your line and you lose a fish. The reason I'm doing that is because that's down so deep, that's never going to come out. We never use the line that's at the bottom of our spool. So here's the deal why I do it. I change my line out quite a bit, you know, maybe once a month. Depends on how much I fish. But anyways, I change it out quite a bit. And if you do that, you can save yourself money because you're using a lot less line, especially when it comes to like flipping, where your longest cast is going to be 30 yards max. You know, you only need 60 yards of line on top of your backer, and when that gets coily, cut it off and tie another 60 on, and you got fresh line all the time. And with cranking, I don't think you have to change it as much if you fill your spool up, because you're chucking and you're whining, and that line is constantly coming in and going out, and you got a lot more pressure on your baits. You're pulling them through the water versus flipping. When you know when you're flipping or working something on the bottom, when you're playing the slack, you know, and you're working your slack and watching for your line to run, and if your line's coily and full of memory, that's going to screw with your eyes and you might lose some fish. So that's why we do backing, to save on line, so you don't have to spend so much money on line. If you put, say this spool holds 200 yards, you put 200 yards of P-line on there, and that just costs you $10, $12, $15, versus what I just did cost me about $3 to $4. So next time you're spooling up, remember this little trick and try it out. I hope it works for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday for a new Tackle Tip Tuesday. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that now. Hit the bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. Destroy that thumbs up button. Luke Reeser signing off. Always remember, you're never too fat to fish.